Hi everyone, this is Imi from the Pro Traders Lounge. Today I'm going to go over some quick technical analysis with the DXY, which is a dollar index, the ES, which is like the futures version of the S&P 500, and Bitcoin, just on a very high time frame, just to see where things are going to go, what I'm seeing in price action. So let's switch straight to the charts, and you should see my screen there. I like using a white background, but if it's blinding you, sorry. Yeah, so on the dollar index, first on a very high time frame overview, you can see what kind of patterns we had. Simple patterns. I like using simple TA, simple patterns. What you can see here is way back from January 17 to March 20, COVID era. We had nice kind of trend line forming, and it had multiple touches on this trend line before an eventual break. What price action did from there was make a nice upwards move. The dollar index is like the big daddy of the other markets, so whatever the dollar does, most markets tend to do the opposite. So we had a nice run up there in the dollar, not good for the other markets. So that was kind of pretty bearish for across the board. Eventually we found resistance at a nice, it's a monthly order block there, but it's also a daily order block. You can zoom into that level and see that, and price could have found resistance anywhere, and it happened to bounce off there. And so at the time I was saying this is a good high, and from then, nice move down, back to test. Let's zoom locally into this area, back to test this SR level, consolidating around it, and then a move downwards. Now we're at a very key level on the dollar index, because what we're doing now is creating another trend line and about to possibly break it, or at least test it. So this, I call these liquidity levels. We're getting a trend line with multiple touches. We've had 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 touches. So to me, it's yeah, with indices and stocks, you can get multiple touches before a break or a reversal. So it's a level to keep an eye on anyway. It's not something you would blindly trade. Always look for a good entry for a trade. So yeah, we can see here, today especially, we had a nice downwards move to kind of front run that level, create a kind of another equal low. If you look at this as another liquidity level, so to me this is this is kind of primed to break at some point. And what we've done again locally is kind of just a big engulfing candle here, which gives you a nice marker. If that's a high volume one as well, yeah, it's decent volume, and a nice high volume drop. This is a kind of bearish price action. So invalidation would be just claiming these highs. If price goes above these highs, you can assume it's going to go higher. Locally, we've had a lot going on. So this is kind of high time frame stuff. If you look at local levels, it's a bit different. Let's look at this one here. Is that coming up? No, that's not. Yeah. Okay. This is kind of local pattern as well. What I noticed a few days ago was this triangle forming on the dollar index, and it kind of aligns with my preferred move, which is a move to the downside. So if you look at this triangle, what we had, multiple touches to the upside, a little fake out here, which to me has become a resistance zone, because you can imagine breakout traders being trapped in this zone. That's a nice resistance zone to me. And then even more locally, you can see we had a big downside move, a back test of this order block, and then another downside move. So to me, this is pretty bearish price action. And best case scenario for the dollar index would be a move up, possibly to test that zone and then back down again. So overall, it's still bearish. Even if it looks good for the dollar, that to me is a key resistance level. But the longer we consolidate around this region, the more chance we have a break to a downside. Again, downside, you want to look for support, and if you keep it very simple, you can put this in terms of zones. So if you do a fixed range volume pull, one of my favorite tools, across these, you'll see a high volume node here and a high volume node there. So there are two nice markers for downside price action. And this green zone is very simply a small consolidation zone. And it's only a small consolidation zone, so it might not give much support. But it's good to mark it off, because you can get a clear. Sometimes you can get a bounce off something like this. It's like a simple SR level. Mark that. SR. So there's lots to look at here on the dollar index. Again, my preferred scenario would be a move to the downside to give us some nice bullish moves on the other markets. So that's the dollar index summarized. Again, taking this high, claiming that high would be pretty bad for the other markets, and I think that's unlikely at the moment because it's a big volume breakout area. And the ES, you want to look for the opposite thing to happen on the ES. I'd like some bullish price action on the ES. So if you look at this in very simple terms again, let's do that. On the ES, we had a very high time frame trend line, similar to the dollar, a nice trend line, multiple touches, an eventual breakout move. Again, because there's a potential for lots of trapped longs in this breakout move, I would assume that's strong resistance. So, and this breakout trend line's kind of had some wandering price action near it now. So I would just get rid of that now and say that's played out. We've got a nice zone here, resistance zone there. Let's look at something else now. 4-hour time frame, you can see we had a nice consolidation range, a big bullish move, breakout move, and then it left behind a nice 4-hour order block. So to me, this is like a strong support zone now. So we've got strong resistance and strong support on the ES. And if you want some additional confluence, you can just pull a fixed range volume pull here. And look, right in the middle, almost the middle of this zone, you have a very clear, strong point of control. So you can even mark that on your charts as a strong level. Mark that POC. And I like clean charts, so I would get rid of that and say, look, that's my support zone until lost. I would look for longs there, and that's my resistance zone, ultimate resistance zone, for definitely for shorts if we test that area. But in the meantime, it's kind of sideways price action, almost sideways price action. You can look at this in like a range or a channel. I look at things from every time frame, and I pick up on scalps, on day trades, on swing trades. The local price action I've been looking at is this, and with me, I like looking at things in terms of order blocks, imbalances, which some of you guys call FVGs, fair value gaps, and liquidity levels, which are like equal highs and equal lows. So almost all price action relates to these factors. So what we have here is a nice order block up here, nice strong order block. So that's close to my my red zone up there. So that's another nice place to look at if you look at my red zone. It's close to that order block. So that's another nice kind of area to look for a bounce. And that green zone was this 4-hour order block. We just marked it off as an order block. More locally, we have this consolidation range, another order block here. And these are always good like final support resistance levels. If you get a move to downside, you can bounce off these imbalances. But ultimately, that's my key level as support. If you lose that, then I'd expect more downside. Another thing I do is have these wicks. I like these high volume, kind of lone wicks. I always mark them as key levels, and they tend to get good reactions. Sometimes it's a front run. Sometimes it's an equal high or low. Other times it'll give you a kind of breakout move or a swing failure. So they're good levels to mark as key levels. Very simply, what price action has been doing the past few days is we had a nice move up, consolidation, nice move up, consolidation here, and what this did here, you can see it formed some equal lows. To me, that's kind of a great magnet for price action. If you get bearish price action, a big move up and a bounce off this level here, which is again equal lows, almost exact equal lows, great magnet for price action. A move up here. And another level of equal lows. There's so many equal lows here to just pull price down. Equal lows here, and again another magnet for price action. And eventually, this was like a swing failure kind of move. We took out all these highs, came into this peak here, which is like a resistance zone. You can probably find an order block there. You can see there's a 15-minute order block there as resistance, just to give you extra compliments. Perfect resistance there, and then a downside move to take out all of these equal lows. So boom, back test, take out that one, back test, take out that one. And this was quite a bigger area than some of the others. Lots of consolidation, roughly equal highs. To me, there's a ton of liquidity here, kind of ripe for the picking. And what price did here was a nice big move down. If you put the volume indicator up as well, you'll see it's probably high volume. Yeah, it's a high volume move. So to me, there's potential for a lot of breakout traders being trapped in here. Lots of trapped shorts in here. So this is a key kind of support zone for me. So I would mark this off as a very strong zone as support until, and if you lose that zone of support, then you can assume you'll get a bigger downside move. But to me, that's a strong zone for support. So if price did come down to here, you have to look for a bounce off that region. Another thing this gives me, when you have this kind of move that takes these lows and then starts going wandering upwards, that's my bullish bias. So I would look for that level to be claimed and that level to be claimed, and this did all play out perfectly. I did this TA a lot earlier today before this played out, and it's nice to see how it did play out. But now we're kind of coming across this whole region here, which I always say, if in doubt, do a fixed range volume pull and see where the POC is. And we're very close to that POC now, so it's kind of a risky time to take along now. It's more of a time to look for shorts. We did get a near rejection from there. Sorry guys, there's a bit of a cough there. Yeah, so we had a close rejection from there. You can also see there's a kind of order block here. This is low time frame, but these things can give you good reactions. So almost a perfect touch there. But the POC for me is the main thing causing the reaction. So it's a good place to look for shorts, or take profit on your long if you're in a long from the lows. Yeah, this is the kind of thing I do with my technical analysis. I've done all the complicated stuff. I've looked through every method, every system, every indicator, you name it. I've tried it, and I've got a system that works really well now across the board on every instrument, every type of market. It's very simple, but it works, and you just need a few assumptions to get it working. Bitcoin, finally. What's Bitcoin doing? Right, so again, I want to keep this very, very simple. Let's zoom out and look at the daily time frame. So these are my zones: consolidation, big break to the downside. One thing you notice here is this wick. I like these big lone wicks, and that gave us like a perfect SR flip over here. And I did mention this at the time, that this is a great place for an SR flip, and we had a nice downside move from there. Lots of bearish price action, bearish. You could assume there's lots of shorts in all this price action ripe to be squeezed, and to me we're getting the big short squeeze now. All the lows from all this price action down is being squeezed now. We've kind of hit a strong resistance level here, primarily a strong order block. And if you look at this level here, that there is a very strong order block. And order blocks aren't just a single level or wick. It's kind of the whole technically that whole candle there is an order block. That entire candle is there and is an order block. And technically it's not an order block, because proper technically it's the change of color. You want to look for a change of color. For example, this one here, that's a green, lots of greens, and then a big change of direction, change of color. That is an order block. But with my way of doing things, I see that as an order block because it gave us a big change of direction. Right. So what we found was resistance from that order block, and now that we've kind of punched it and weakened it, to me there's more potential for upwards price action. And again, if you look at simple methods, you can just pull a fixed range volume pull here and look for the high volume area. That's okay. We're above this high volume node, and the actual POC is up there, so you can mark this as a POC. That's the next level to look like. From here we can look for shorts and watch current price action. So imagine if you're in the long from the lows, either down here, down there, whatever your longs are, that would POC would need to be a major TP if we get an upwards move in price action, and also a place to look for scalp shorts, and which could become swings. And again, ultimately, if we take that high, which was that former SR level, now you can call it a lone, kind of almost like a lone wick. That's a key level for me now. If we took that level, I'm not seeing a lot of resistance until we get back to this consolidation zone here. There's a kind of order block here, which should be a major TP, because it's a high volume move coming out of it. So that should be a major TP. But then there's potential. I'm seeing potential for that kind of upwards price action. But we have local resistance to break first. As a swing trader, you need to find a good entry, and to me, it's always great to buy pullbacks. This consolidation range to me is a great place to buy a pullback. So here you can see this is comprised of very simple TA, equal highs, a nice order block in here, and if you look at the volume POC, the range POC, it's going to be right almost dead center. So so many things here in this range you can look for as support. I wouldn't. I would assume we're not going to break it in one go. If the price does get bearish, I can't see it just busting through this and going much lower. It would consolidate or bounce, give some scalps at least. So there's a lot to look at in Bitcoin. Again, I do a lot of time frame trade lots of different time frames, and tend to sometimes I'm scalping, sometimes I'm looking at swing trades, other times day trades. But my simple levels and simple methods tend to give really good trades. So it's something to bear in mind. You don't need to do your complicated TA. You don't need all the crazy volume. Also called exo charts and ATES and all this complicated stuff. Footprint charts, all that kind of stuff. Market profile. You don't need all that. You can just have simple levels and just have some assumptions behind them to see where price is going to go. Yeah, that's me done for now. Let's see where things go here. Again, my ultimate play here would be a nice move down somewhere into this zone for a long, getting everyone bearish, and then just move upwards and take the highs. And if that coincides with a move, if this move down and up coincides with a move up and down on the dollar, great, extra confluence. But you don't always get that confluence and correlation between the dollar and the ES and Bitcoin. Like at the moment, you can see we kind of lost the correlation, and that's the kind of sign that Bitcoin wants to do his own thing. So we had a big up and down move on the dollar index. The ES was a down and up move, and Bitcoin kind of stayed steady, hardly did anything. A little slight move there, but nothing major. So yeah, always watch out for confluence as well. Anyway, thanks for listening. As ever, this is just for information, education, entertainment purposes only. For more information, come and visit the Pro Traders Lounge website, or join our free Discord. Thanks for listening, and take care.